Hello, my name's Mia, and Mia Park, hi. And I was supposed to be interviewing my dear friend, Thomas Dunning, in Dublin, Ireland. Oh, there he is. Hold on. Tom, you have to request to join. There we are. Okay, view. Live with Thomas. Waiting for my old pal, Thomas. Oh, technology. Hi, darling.
Hi.
Oh my God, it's so good to say. Great to see you. B, sorry for the technical blah blah blah.
Yeah, we have a handful of people over waiting on YouTube. So I wonder if we might, if somebody sees this, maybe they send a message to YouTube and tell them to get
Yes,
ready
can
over here.
somebody in the YouTube, maybe I can do. Oh, someone wrote hi uncle. So
Oh,
cute. Sorry about that. So let me so I've been using a platform called StreamYard to do these interviews, and that way I can interview like somebody on Facebook and YouTube simultaneously, and it records. But StreamYard kicked me out, and in over 15 minutes they haven't sent me. Can we see your face live more often, please? Aw, your people love you. They're all
that's so
named Dunning.
cute.
They must. Anyway, thank you for being flexible. Sorry, I still haven't gotten the password, so
Oh,
maybe.
that's a shame.
Yeah,
Sure,
it
we can do
is.
part two. We can do part two.
Hey, let's do part two. Well, let me kick this off officially. So, my name's Mia
Okay.
Park. This is my interview series in response, interviews with intriguing internalizers. And I have had what a lovely opportunity to interview my family and friends around the world who are very special people because they think, and I think what makes them tick is very unique. So this is definitely in response to the pandemic, but I'm also just like loving talking to my friends who I think have valuable things to share, like Stunning Mind, Sir Thomas Dunning, who I knew in Chicago and now lives in Dublin, Ireland. Hi, Tom.
Hi, Mia. Thanks for having me. I'm really happy to be here.
Oh my gosh, so good to see you. So, Tom, do you want to say a couple? I mean, I could talk about you, but is there other things that you want to share about yourself?
Uh, there's That's so funny. Yeah, like so. In a nutshell, I moved to Ireland in 2002 to manage a band. I came here. I was working in HIV prevention in Chicago for about 10 years, and as a volunteer before that, and then and I moved here, and I've been doing social work since for the last 18 years now. And I also do still continue to do work in music as well. I
Hmm.
guess I should say because in my bio I mentioned where I'm working. I'm an officer of the state here in Ireland, but it's really important that this interview is understood to be about me and my experiences, and that I'm not speaking for the Department of Children and Youth Affairs, or the agency that I work for, Tusla Child and Family Agency, because
That's right.
that can get really confusing when you're kind of in the public eye like that. So.
Totally, totally. And I'm sorry I'm distracted. I'm realizing like maybe I can go to YouTube and see if I can
Rock us
tell.
over there.
Oh, yeah, or actually get them over here because
Yeah,
we're going now.
let's
But
do
I
that
think,
because I'm in no times. I have no time limitations here, so we're happy.
oh, awesome. Okay, cool, cool, cool. And thanks for making it clear that you are speaking as an individual
Yeah,
human being. You're not speaking as a representative of where the government. I guess you're working for the
right.
man over
Exactly.
there.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I mean,
Man.
I work for the I'm a child protection social worker for the Irish state here. So and so it's important that because I'm known for that. I mean, that is my field of expertise. Child protection in an international context. That that people don't think, oh, Tusla have sent me here. Just that I'm speaking about my experience in this alternate reality that we find ourselves in at the moment.
For sure. Again, apologize. It says there are some people that were waiting. Hopefully they moved over. I'm going to go ahead and tell them. I'm going to
Mm.
type in here real. This is live. Whoops, there goes my phone.
You
This
know what? This
this
is
is
what we do.
technology.
And you know what? And we live on the edge, and live is on the edge, and that's what makes this so exciting.
I know. I'm going to put down here. Man, it is like super. I'm having a lot of technical difficulties in my life. Does that ever happen to you that things come in
Is
waves?
there Mercury retrograde happening by any
You know,
chance?
the communication thing with Mercury in retrograde, it might be now on Instagram. Live.
Mia Park, Mia Park. You need to
That's
tell them.
right. At Mia Park, Mia Park. No, it's or on yours as well. They could see
Yeah,
you on
that's
your.
true. My old pal
Uh,
Thomas.
do people know your handle on Instagram? I just
No,
put at
I
Mia Park.
changed it recently because Spencer Tweedy is the nicest person in the world, and so that was the nickname he gave me when I babysit him when he was 4.
Spencer Tweedy, Jeff Tweedy's son. What was the name that
Yeah,
he gave you?
my old pal Thomas.
Aw, that's why you did that.
It's a cute little story about it, brother.
Now on Instagram Live. Okay, so I did that.
Okay, great. Maybe people can jump over.
Yeah, maybe people can jump over. Okay, anyway, darling. So, what I like to do is ask people in this interview series about conditions in their outside world. And then I like to check in with what conditions are going on in your inside world. So tell me what is happening exactly in time and space in Dublin, Ireland, in reaction to the pandemic through your eyes.
Sure. So on the 13th of Friday, the 13th of March, we went in. We don't call it lockdown, but we've had restrictions on movement and everything, and so we everyone started working from home, and Dublin became quite a ghost town. Some of us in the essential services areas, we would be going in, and you'd be downtown where there's normally so many thousands of people. And there'd be like two or three people kind of walking down the street. It was very spooky and very surreal and very beautiful. And most of us, I mean, I go into the office one day a week because the managers on my team, we each rotate so that we can be there if there's a child protection matter that comes up. But when being at home, we also started noticing changes with the animals and like birds, and especially the birds and cats and the foxes. They've all just started kind of we have a lot of foxes where in this part of Dublin where I live in the south side, and they've just kind of been like, oh, we can come out now, and it's been beautiful and wonderful to see that kind of energy and that kind of engagement with the natural world. People keep talking about Mother Earth reclaiming her space and everything, but really, when you see the activity of the birds, it's been really exciting. It's been really neat. The bird song, you can hear the birds singing in such a deep, new way. It's wonderful because there's so many fewer other sounds around us.
Oh, that's awesome.
It is. It's really lovely.
Yeah.
I hate the outside world. I'm a little agoraphobic, so I don't really like to go outside, and I struggle with trees and open spaces and the natural world. I want to love it. I want to love the waterfalls and the trees but I want to stay inside where it's safe. That's just my own little kind of.
Oh my gosh!
I know.
How is it that I did? I don't think I did. I remember we were on tour. So I was in a band called the Baltimores towards the end of the career of that band. And Tom was our manager. And when Tom was managing the band that I was in, we did a little mini tour. So like the Stinky Boys were in the rock and roll van in front of us.
And us girls were hanging out.
And us girls were in the back seat, and we're in Thomas's car. And I remember we had the air conditioning on, and I remember you being a little freaked out about keeping the air from the outside coming in. I don't know if you remember that. And so we were like putzing with, and I was like, he doesn't like outside air in. Maybe it's because we're on a dirty road, but now you're telling me it's because like you actually don't like being in nature.
I like being in this is really funny. I have a bench outside on my front porch where it's kind of covered, and I like to watch the world go by, and I sit outside. But if that bench was in the lawn, I don't know. I just feel like I'm gonna get hit by a meteorite or something. Because it would be my luck, Mia. It would be my luck.
It would be you. Okay, so that's something we learned about Thomas, that he's a little bit afraid of meteorites falling down from the sky when he's outdoors. Okay, great. So tell us about, now we know a little bit more about your inside world. How does it feel inside of you processing what's happening right now in time and space?
Yeah, well, I've had an opportunity to connect with people in my kind of support network in ways that I haven't done for a long time. I'm regularly attending kind of meetings online. And one of the things that I've really noticed, and even why that's even happening, because I haven't been kind of attending my support meetings in real time with face-to-face people, is that I feel that this pandemic has given us space to think and to reflect and to figure out who it is we want to be, and also a very acute awareness of our mortality. And that acute awareness of our mortality, I feel, has really made us think about, I just need to clean up a bit around here, and kind of like, that's kind of how it feels. And you just start thinking, okay, if I'm going to get sick and have to, and not get through this, then what am I going to do with these days? And the wonderful thing has been, you have almost a sense, not too strong, of living each day as if it was your last, but close. Like kind of thinking like, you know what? If in 6 months a bunch of us aren't going to be here, how are we going to spend our days? And doing exactly this is how I want to be spending my. If today, tomorrow morning people aren't going to wake up. Healthy people, sick people, whatever. But that just happens. That's part of the life cycle. Life comes to an end. And I just think that if this is my last day, I'm spending talking to you, doing a global internet webcast, talking about ideas and spirituality and space and feelings and connection and the global family and our natural world. I mean, this is exactly how I'd like my last day in life to be, Please God, it won't.
Oh, please God, it won't be. But
Yeah.
well, I love that you're just kind of admitting that, there's a vulnerability, but you're like, okay, then this is just what's happening, right?
Yeah, I think that when we're in touch with our vulnerabilities, that's when we find our strengths. I mean, if I'm not vulnerable, I don't even know what strengths I need what muscles I need to exercise and things like that. So now I'm really feeling like on that internal space, what muscles in my communication, in my interconnectedness with people, and also having to do that, in many ways, in cyberspace as opposed to, touch. I'm very acutely aware that the lack of touch has reduced serotonin levels. And that serotonin is the chemical in the brain that tells you you're safe, tells you you're happy, tells you you belong. And those are things that I'm really, really concerned about, not for me, because I think that because I actually I've been thinking about it and processing it, and I haven't had too many bad days. I have more concern about kind of the larger human family. People who are, I heard that my nephew hadn't touched anybody for 2 months, hadn't shaken hands or even elbow bumped anybody. And I was really worried that oh my gosh, his poor serotonin levels in his brain, Because, the thing is that many people live alone. I have a unique situation here in Dublin, and it's a very common thing in Ireland to house share with strangers. So, when people in Ireland are here, especially there's so many people in Ireland who are not from Ireland, who are living here, you rent a room in a house. And I've been doing that since the day I came here 18 years ago. And so I live with somebody from the Basque region, somebody from the south of Spain, somebody from the Republic of Georgia, and myself from Chicago. These aren't the people I would have chosen to go through a global pandemic with. And I think that that's a very unique experience outside of for people who aren't here, because lots of people in Ireland are having the same experience. And how do you negotiate different values and political stuff and all of that around prevention and and all of the precaution stuff, trying to negotiate that stuff with people who aren't your family of choice or even your family of origin is a unique experience that we get to walk through here. And it's challenging, but at the same time, we will remember. I've lived with so many people in Ireland since I've lived here. I will remember 50 years from now, during the pandemic of 2020, I was living with blah, 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 these three people. And because we're spending a lot of time in the house together, and negotiating, okay, I'm going to need the living room to talk to Mia now, so everyone out, and then we all kind of give each other a lot of respect and space.
Wow, that's an interesting observation that this pandemic happened so quickly.
Yeah.
That there wasn't a lot of room or liberty of choice. However, we do take advantage of of where we are and what's happening, right, Tom? So, we did have some questions that we talked about beforehand that I want to that seem to speak to you, and one of them was if you feel different now than before the pandemic started.
Well, as I mentioned, having a kind of higher heightened consciousness of our of the this human experience, that the whole planet is kind of, no matter how you feel about the information, and because people do feel differently about the information. The thing is, we're all thinking about the information, and we're all concerned about the information, and we're concerned about the health of our human family. And I've always loved this notion that we are each other. If I hurt you, I hurt me. If I help you, I help me. And so, and if somebody gets sick and dies, a part of me gets sick and dies. And there's something very divine about that. That kind of call to raise to keep ourselves healthy as a living organism on the planet, and I think that I've never really thought about it as much as I have in this pandemic period. I want to add something that I think that I've really been thinking about, Mia.
Yeah.
And I'll be very careful to not go into a political situation here. But I think that one of the things that's been fascinating for me as somebody who's come from America, I was 35 when I left Chicago 18 years ago when I came here, and the economic systems around the world, I've been able to see how different countries operate their economic systems, and the role of the economy in the response to the pandemic, and seeing how that's different in different places has been fascinating for me. I love America, and I'm very proud to be an American and be from America, but at the same time, I'm very concerned, and I have a lot of anxiety about what's happening back home. And one of the things that took me a while to get my head around was like, why, the whole cultural civil war that's happening kind of in America, and has been going on for a long time. It really almost feels like it's at an apex right now. That the pandemic has really, really brought things into sharp relief around how things are processed by society. And one of the things that I found so interesting is that in Ireland we were protesting when we didn't go into lockdown. Like we were saying, there's an old lady down the street who's going to get sick, so we all have to go into lockdown, and anyone who doesn't go into lockdown needs to be held accountable. And I feel like it's very much the other way around back home, which is the economy needs to be protected, and if that means the little old lady down the street has to be sacrificed, then so be it. And I just think that I've never really seen the importance of these differing economic systems and how they manifest themselves in that kind of way of being with different people. I just find it really interesting, and I just wanted to mention it. I'm not saying it's right or one is right or wrong or whatever. I'm just saying it's a really it's an observation that I've been having and I've been wrestling with, because here, if the economy tanks, let the economy tank. We got to save the lady down the road. But that's just kind of how it is here, and so it's very different. It's a very different approach to how things are in late capitalism in America, at the minute. So it's just an observation that I had that I wanted to kind of share today, because maybe it will generate some conversations after the interview.
Oh, thanks, Thomas. Yeah, it's for real. We could go on and on about that. I want to keep this focused on you and your lovely. Oh, there's a Chicago mug. I've got my Chicago Public Radio mug, so we're representing, aren't we?
Here's I love
right.
my mug. I love my.
Do you love your Chicago mug in Dublin? You love it in Dublin. Yeah, it is for real over here, Tom. It is like, we're dealing, as you can imagine, as individually and collectively as best as we can. But back to you, I wanted to ask you if some of the other things we talked about ahead of time, if you had like a poem or a passage or an offering or a movement, something that you wanted to share with us.
You know what? This is going to sound real. I'm an agnostic. I was raised Roman Catholic on the south side of Chicago. But lately I've been spending a lot of time with the Prayer of Saint Francis.
Hmm.
And it's just been kind of it's come up for me in the last few days with and it's popped up here and then it popped up again, and I thought maybe I'm supposed to be kind of meditating on this, and just this notion of, make me a channel of your peace, and where there's hatred, let me sow love, where there's discontent, let me sow harmony, and all, just kind of let me not be a jerk, let me be a nice person, and let me help people and not be selfish and self-centered, and I've just been spending a lot of time with that, and I don't have it in front of me to kind of, give it to everybody, but a lot of people will know it, and I just wanted to, for me, that's one of the things I've been really enjoying ruminating on, because it kind of centers me, and it reminds me that the way that I've gotten through my life from not being a complete train wreck to where I am now is that I've really adopted a spirituality of service. And being of service to my fellows has gotten me out of the way. I mean, I have an ego the size of New Jersey. Like, it's like, I mean, I am a megalomaniac dictator waiting to happen. Like, I'm just waiting for my own throne. But what's kept me from that insanity and the danger of that, right, is this notion that I wasn't put here to look after me. I was put here to look after other people, and that has saved me. And it has also, during this pandemic and living with strangers, gotten me out of the way, and saying, "Do you want some cantaloupe?" Like, normally we all buy our own groceries and we eat our own groceries, and that's the Dept, but in your house sharing. But now it's like, would you like some yogurt? So there's this new kindness that I'm really happy about. A kindness, because I think that's kindness and being of service are really the ways to get us through this problem time. When it first happened, one of my housemates was like, "We need to find every old person in the neighborhood and find out how to get their groceries to them. We need to go and make sure that they don't have to go get groceries. We need to do this." And I was like, "Dude, chill." Because I was like, I didn't realize how serious it was, that he'd been listening to the news all day, And unfortunately, the people of Ireland know how to deal with the old people. The postman now brings stuff to the old people. It's amazing here. So service and kindness are really the themes for me of this pandemic. I have to say, I've only had one really bad day. I have some surrogate grandchildren that I love and I miss, and I'm just dying to just hug them to bits, and I haven't seen them for over 2 months now. Really, I haven't been able to touch them. I did see them once from a distance, trying to keep everyone safe. So I'm looking forward to those restrictions being lifted, because children are just amazing, and I love them so much.
Yeah. Gosh, there's a lot, again, back to the differences in the ways that people are handling it in Ireland versus how they're handling it. I can talk about Chicago specifically as well. But you're right, kindness is a universal reaction or universal response. I think that's very helpful. I keep mentioning how pressure pushes our defaults to the surface, and that it's a good opportunity to look at our dysfunctional defaults and work on them individually. And I feel like if someone has a predisposition, and conversely, if someone has a predisposition towards kindness and service, as you're talking about, this is a great opportunity for that to be pushed to the surface as well.
Yeah.
Everything's kind of under a microscope right now, internally and externally. So I feel like, again, that if you have a predisposition towards kindness, I think it's a nice idea maybe to lean towards that, because you're in a house full of strangers, like you said, or whatever situation. There's always somebody that could benefit from whatever help you have. And I always like to tie it back to it's interesting what you were saying before about being in service to others, and that you can help others. I'm with you. I happen to kind of go in and then out. I think for me, a way for me to really help other people is to make sure that I understand myself and where I'm coming from and my intentions before I go out to just help others, because it's going to make me feel better, because I think I'm going to help. Believe me, I think I've done a lot of not as good as I thought I would, because I'm helping. So
I had a great saying this week. I came up with something. I was talking to another friend about this, and I said, altruism is great, can be great theater. Like, so you really need to check the ego, and kind of, because altruism can be great theater, and we need to really protect ourselves from that.
Oh
And
my
so,
gosh. Yeah. Who is this having in my, yeah, it's funny. I have another thing going on in my life now where it's really making me question who I identify with and how I identify with them. Again, very external. These are my people. This is my tribe. This is my birth family. This is my chosen family. This is my community. And how do the clinginess or evasiveness I have of identifying or not wanting to identify with these groups of people. Again, I think that's a reflection of what's happening in us. But we're just about at time. So is there anything else that you would love to offer to us? It's so nice to hear you and see
oh
you. You're so
yes,
wise.
it's you're very
You
kind.
are.
You know, you're an amazing yoga teacher. I just wanted to tell you that. 'Cause,
Last time I saw Thomas, he came to my yoga class in Chicago,
that was the
and we
last
went
time
for
I did yoga.
and we went for Korean food afterwards. Remember?
Yes, we did. I got in trouble for giggling in your class because
I was
I
like,
kept laughing. I was like, "She wants me to do what?" But so I hopefully will get to do another yoga class soon. Is this going to be able to be transferred over to YouTube? Do you think
yes,
somehow?
I believe
Just
so. I
recorded.
believe I can like Instagram save it, and this will go on YouTube. Again, if anyone's watching now or missed it earlier, I'm sorry. The platform I use, StreamYard, for some reason it kicked me out and it would not let me back in. So I apologize for that. I'll
But this
figure
is
this out. But
nice.
this will go on YouTube.
This is great. I've enjoyed the interviews you've been doing. The couple of doctors from India and the artist from Poland and your mom. I mean, my goodness, what wonderful interviews! I've really, really enjoyed your series. I'm honored to be included in it, and with that, I just wish you peace and safety and health and wellness. And thank you for being you in my life. You're awesome.
Oh, thank you, Thomas Dunning from Dublin, Ireland now. Oh my gosh, I love you. Good to see you. It's like time doesn't pass when I like seeing you is like just like it's the same thing. So again, thanks for watching In Response. Sorry for the technical difficulties. It's nice to do it on Instagram. Maybe we'll do it again. And maybe we'll talk again with Thomas too. But for
That
now,
was lovely. Thank
mwah. Ciao, ciao. Bye, everybody. Thanks.
Peace.
Bye-bye.